I was working for the CIA, the DEA, and
Pablo Escobar.
1,500 kilos.
That's 1,500 kilos, Barry.
in one go.
Get it done.
American Made. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. About the movie American Made, it stars Tom Cruise. It's being directed by Doug Liman, and I am a fan of his work. If you are too, you know that he did Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I do have here on DVD. I don't have it on Blu-ray. Probably not going to get it on Blu-ray. This movie right here, I didn't like it the first time I saw it in theaters for some reason, but the second time I saw it, and after that, I really thought it was a great film, and I really did enjoy it. Doug Liman, he also did what movie was that? The Bourne Identity, of course, with I'm finna say Jason Bateman. The Bourne Identity? Why can I Matt Damon, of course, yeah. He did The Bourne Identity. He did, like I just said, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He also did Wall, that came out this year, and also Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, which came out in 2014, which I have a copy here on Blu-ray. And I love this movie to death. If you haven't seen this movie, I strongly recommend it. The only thing that, this movie was so amazing. It did a lot of great things. The title was a little iffy, and then the marketing was pretty atrocious on this film as well. But it's a very great movie. If you haven't bought it yet and you're a collector, I suggest you go ahead and buy it. It has some great special features in it as well. And it's just another example on why Doug Liman is such a great director. But like I said, now he's doing American Made with Tom Cruise. And, I only saw the trailer for this movie a couple of times. And as I was going into the theater, I really didn't know what to expect. And what it's about pretty much for the most part is Tom Cruise. This is based on a true story. Late 1970s, late 1980s, and Tom Cruise is just, an average man as a pilot trying to provide for his family, and he kind of gets bored with life, and when the movie started off, I was kind of not knowing what to expect and where it was going, but he's kind of bored with his life, kind of gets a new career with the CIA, and ends up kind of being not a drug lord, but a drug runner for the CIA and a bunch of other countries down in South America. And the most thing that I did like about this movie is the character that Tom Cruise was playing, Barry Seal. I mean, I really do like the character. I mean, and this is based on a true story. So it's not that I just like the character. I like the acting by Tom Cruise because, a lot of Tom Cruise's movies, it kind of just seems like he's playing himself over and over again. Not like that's a bad thing because Tom Cruise is a great actor. But at the same time, when you do kind of see Tom Cruise playing a role where he's necessarily not playing himself, that is a breath of fresh air, and it's just, a little something different, to look at and enjoy, when you're viewing the picture of the movie in the theater, at home, or whenever. Because like when he's doing, was it Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible movies, it seems like he's kind of playing that same role and everything else, but that was not the case in this movie here. I really felt like he was filling the roles of Mr. Barry Seal, and that's just an innocent man that kind of gets in too deep in this situation, and at the same time just doesn't want to get executed because, he's working for all these people, and he kind of feels like, okay, well, hey, I have the opportunity right here. If I don't abide by the rules, hey, I may get a bullet in the back of, my head. And something else that I really disliked about the movie is just the way that the story is told, because of course, it jumps back and forth from, I don't want to say like present day because this does take place in the past, but he is telling a story in the 80s, somewhat towards the, I don't want to spoil it, but I do like the way that the film was bouncing back and forth from the time that Tom Cruise was telling the story, from the time, that he's, going back, a number of years, from the 70s or whatever, because I don't want to say present day because for the most part, this takes place in the 80s. So when I say jumping back and forth, I mean from the early to mid 80s back into the mid to late 70s. And, the way that they're putting all that together was, I liked it. It flowed very nicely. It was seamless and it was very cohesive. The acting across the board was, pretty good. It's anything that like blew my socks off. And one thing that I really do like as well is the imagery that they provided, because when Tom Cruise is in the plane flying back and forth as a pilot, there's a lot of maps that they're showing or whatever. And the way that the maps are being illustrated with all the graphics or whatever, it really does grab you and pull you into the story and let you know what's going on and how, different, government agencies work against each other and with each other. And, I really did like all that. It made the film really exciting. I mean, it wasn't boring at all. There was not the only dull or boring moment in the movie was at the very beginning. Because, after the first like 5 or 10 minutes, I was just kind of saying to myself, okay, I don't really think this film is for me. It just seems dry as hell. Where is this going? But, it starts so low, and I like to do this a lot. And, it doesn't just go and plateau or go back down. No, the film continues to rise and rise and rise and rise all the way into the very end on a very high note. And, that just doesn't happen, that often these days when you're in the cinema. But that is something that this film right here was able to tackle. And I want to give all the credit to director Doug Liman, because I really can, I could really sense his directing chops as I was watching this movie, just kind of with the editing and, the pacing of the film. This is marketed as an action biography comedy. And, excuse me. It really is funny. It's not filled with jokes, but it's just really full of just real, life moments, that are genuine and that anybody can relate to or whatever. Even when he's being chased by this person or that person or trying to get away or stay undercover, there's just a number of moments sprinkled in and out or whatever that the movie does make you laugh. It does feel a little bit long. The movie comes in, I think, like right around 2 hours, and it did seem a little long. Maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but that's not a big gripe. But for the most part, I laughed. I thought the story was great. I'm glad I know the story now. I feel like I learned something just on how, with government agencies and, how they work between each other and whatnot and how they can work together. I got a good understanding of the law and what's legal and what's not. The Tom Cruise is great. I mean, it's an overall great film that I really did enjoy, and I recommend it to you and anyone else that was interested in seeing this film. If I had to rate American Made out of a 1 out of 10, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yes, an 8.5 out of 10. But guys, that's just my opinion. What did you think of American Made? Have you seen it? Do you want to see it? Have I turned you on? Have I turned you off? Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. And if you didn't like the video, that's fine. Just leave me a comment below why and still give me the thumbs up. Since you're watching this on YouTube, yes, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Become one of my subscribers so you can get all the content that I have to provide. You can also click the bell, get notified when I do make uploads, and help me reach my first milestone of 1,000 subscribers. Guys, you can also go to my website, check me out there, bookmark it. I do have written reviews. And guys, also look me up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. And I made it very easy for you guys by providing a link to all that down in the description box below. So guys, I just want to thank you again for tuning in to my opinion/review for American Made, starring Tom Cruise, directed by Doug Liman. Excuse me. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.